Ma'am, you need to return to your seat immediately. The sharp command cuts through the hum of the airplane cabin. Dr. Maya Reynolds looks up, her brow furrowing. Rebecca Lawson, the flight attendant, looms over her, arms crossed, a forced politeness masking something colder. Maya glances around. The other passengers are watching, some with curiosity, others pretending not to see. A few phones are already angled in her direction. Is there a problem? Maya asks, her voice calm but firm. Rebecca's lips press into a thin line. You're not supposed to be here. Maya straightens, sensing the weight of what's about to unfold. Rebecca exhales sharply, gesturing toward the back of the plane. This restroom is for first-class passengers only. Maya blinks. I'm in first class. A beat of silence. The tension thickens. Rebecca's eyes flicker with uncertainty. No, not uncertainty. Something else. Disbelief. Maya reaches into her pocket, pulling out her boarding pass. She holds it up, unwavering. See for yourself. Rebecca doesn't even glance at it. You must be mistaken. Maya feels the familiar sting of being questioned, of being treated like she doesn't belong. Her fingers tighten around the paper. She knows exactly what's happening. Rebecca snatches the boarding pass, scanning it with exaggerated scrutiny. Her lips curl. Must be an upgrade. Maya's stomach knots. The implication is clear. Someone like her couldn't possibly afford first class. A flicker of heat rises in her chest, but she reins it in. She's been here before. In boardrooms, at conferences, even in hospitals, always being second-guessed. Actually, Maya says evenly, I booked this seat months ago. Rebecca tuts, shoving the pass back at her. Regardless, you need to move. Maya exhales slowly. She can let this go, or she can stand her ground. She chooses the latter. Rebecca's voice hardens. If you don't return to your seat, I'll have you removed. Maya's pulse thrums in her ears. A hush blankets the cabin. I have every right to be here, she says, her voice controlled but firm. Rebecca's smirk vanishes. I won't ask again. A shadow moves in the corner of Maya's vision. A flight security officer steps forward, one hand resting near his belt. His expression is unreadable, but his stance is clear. He's already chosen a side. Passengers shift in their seats. Someone coughs. The weight of silent judgment presses down. Maya lifts her chin. Are you really going to escalate this over a restroom? Rebecca doesn't flinch. You're causing a disturbance. Maya exhales. She sees it now, the trap laid out before her, and she refuses to walk into it. A woman in business attire lowers her phone, her lips parting. A black man a few rows back tenses, gripping the armrest. He's seen this before. Different setting, same story. Passengers exchange wary glances. Some whisper. Others pretend not to notice. Someone records. Someone mutters, "Here we go again." Rebecca stands firm, confident in the power she holds. The flight security officer doesn't hesitate, stepping closer. Maya senses the shift in the air, the moment where injustice is about to be sealed as protocol. She glances around, searching for an ally. Would anyone speak up? Maya's breath comes slow and measured, but inside, a war rages. Anger, exhaustion, a deep, aching disbelief, but also something stronger. Resolve. She's fought for years to be recognized, respected, treated as an equal. And yet, here she is. She exhales. Number. She won't back down. Not this time. A burst of applause. Cameras flash. Dr. Maya Reynolds steps away from the podium, the weight of her speech still lingering. Dr. Reynolds, your research is changing the game, a colleague says, shaking her hand. She smiles, nodding graciously. She's used to the praise, used to the paradox of being celebrated, yet scrutinized. Because no matter how many awards she earns, no matter how many lives she saves, some people will always see her as a black woman before they see the doctor. The road here wasn't paved for her. She remembers the hushed doubts of professors, the patients who refused her care, the quiet battles fought in sterile hospital corridors. A professor once smirked. "Are you sure you're cut out for this?" Maya smiled steady. "I'll let my work answer that." And it had. But even now, standing at the peak of her field, she knows one truth. Racism doesn't care about resumes. Microaggressions, she's mastered the art of ignoring them. The double takes, the patronizing. "You're so articulate." The constant need to prove herself twice over. She used to think success would shield her. After a certain point, she wouldn't have to fight for her place. But discrimination doesn't disappear. It just disguises itself. As she heads to the airport, one thought lingers. Will today be any different? Maya steps onto the plane, rolling her suitcase into first class. The flight attendant, Rebecca Lawson, barely glances at her ticket before waving her in. No greeting, no warmth. Maya watches as Rebecca's demeanor shifts when a white passenger boards. Suddenly all smiles and pleasantries. She exhales, brushing it off. Not every cold exchange is racism, but experience whispers otherwise. She settles into her seat, unaware that before this flight lands, she will be at the center of a storm. Rebecca moves through first class, taking drink orders. She pauses at each row, making small talk, offering wine choices. Then, she reaches Maya. No eye contact, no question. Just a brisk, "Water?" Maya raises an eyebrow. The pattern is all too familiar. Pick your battles, she reminds herself. Little does she know, this battle is about to pick her. Maya's fingers drum lightly against the armrest, her mind still replaying the moments that shaped her. A disapproving stare pulls her back to the present, Rebecca watching her. The restroom confrontation looms ahead. Maya straightens. This time, she won't stay silent. The plane jolts, rattling the cabin. Maya steadies herself, but it's not the turbulence that unsettles her. Her throat is dry. She glances around. Other first-class passengers sip their drinks, condensation glistening on their glasses. She had asked twice already, still nothing. Across the aisle, Rebecca leans toward an elderly white couple. "Another wine for you, sir?" Maya exhales slowly. She's seen this before. The pattern isn't just coincidence. It's deliberate. Maya tries again, keeping her voice measured. "Excuse me, could I get some water, please?" Rebecca barely turns. With a sigh, she grabs a napkin and tosses it onto Maya's tray table. No drink, no acknowledgement, just the napkin. Maya's fingers tighten around the armrest. "I asked for water." Rebecca doesn't even feign politeness. "We're busy." Then, flashing a too-sweet smile, she walks away to a white passenger, offering them a choice of sparkling or still. The message is clear. You don't belong here. A woman 3 rows ahead shifts in her seat, eyes darting toward Maya before looking away. A suited man lowers his newspapers just enough to glance at the scene, then quickly lifts it again. A younger woman grips her phone. She thinks about recording, but her thumb hesitates over the screen. Maya scans their faces. Silence is its own kind of answer. She isn't just fighting one flight attendant. She's fighting the weight of every unspoken agreement in this cabin. Her pulse quickens. She spent a lifetime navigating these moments. The professor who doubted her in med school. The patient who muttered, "I'd prefer a real doctor." She had proven them all wrong, but proving herself shouldn't be necessary. Rebecca smirks, waiting, daring her to make a scene. Maya clenches her jaw. Not here, not now. She lets it go, though it burns. For now. She rises, stretching out the tension. Maybe some space will help. As she approaches the restroom, Rebecca steps in front of her. "Coach is in the back," she says, voice dripping with condescension. Maya's patience snaps. She holds up her boarding pass. "I'm in first class." Rebecca's gaze flickers over the ticket. Her smirk doesn't fade. Must be an upgrade. This isn't ignorance, it's a choice. And Maya has a choice too. Rebecca doesn't move. The challenge is unspoken but deafening. Maya squares her shoulders. This isn't about a restroom. It's about respect. The murmur of passengers, the tension in the air. None of it matters now. She won't let this slide. Maya doesn't move. Her voice is steady, controlled. I have every right to use this restroom. Rebecca smirks. Not my problem. Passengers shift in their seats. The tension is thick, pressing against the cabin walls. Maya refuses to step back. She's seen this play out before. Subtle humiliation, quiet compliance. Not this time. Rebecca's expression hardens. With deliberate slowness, she turns, waving over the security officer stationed at the front. She's causing a disturbance, Rebecca announces, voice dripping with false concern. I think she's a threat. Maya's breath catches. Everything shifts in an instant. Gasps ripple through the first-class cabin. A threat. The word echoes in Maya's ears, heavier than the engine's hum. The security officer, a white man with a rigid stance, places a hand near his holster. Ma'am, you need to comply. Maya stares at him, disbelief crashing over her. You can't be serious. Rebecca crosses her arms. I asked you to return to your seat. You refused. Passengers murmur. A man leans toward his wife. She wasn't aggressive. Maya sees the shift, the hesitation, the unease. But doubt doesn't erase the danger. She swallows hard, her pulse pounding. One wrong move, and this could spiral out of control. A woman in pearl earrings clutches her purse tighter. A suited man exhales sharply, but keeps his eyes on his newspaper. Some lift their phones discreetly, fingers hovering over record buttons. Whispers pass between rows. This feels wrong. Just follow orders. Maya scans the faces. Hesitation, discomfort, but no intervention. Then a voice rises, slicing through the uneasy quiet. This isn't right. Heads turn as Jamal Carter, a tall black businessman, rises from his seat. His voice is steady, unwavering. We all saw what happened. Rebecca's expression darkens. Stay out of this. Jamal doesn't flinch. Or what? You'll call security on me too? Rebecca stiffens. A flicker of uncertainty crosses her face. Passengers exchange glances. The energy in the room shifts. Hesitation turning into awareness. Maya exhales, her heartbeat slowing. Just enough to take in the moment. Jamal looks at her. You okay? Before she can answer, another voice joins in. She wasn't aggressive. We all saw it. A young woman grips her phone tighter. I have everything recorded. For the first time, Rebecca's confidence falters. But the power struggle isn't over. A flight supervisor arrives. A middle-aged white woman with clipped professionalism. What's going on? Rebecca gestures toward Maya. Disruptive passenger. The supervisor's gaze sweeps over Maya, then to the security officer, still gripping his belt. Maya straightens, hope flickering. I just wanted to use the restroom. The supervisor nods slowly. Then, we'll need to detain you upon landing if this continues. A gut punch of betrayal. Passengers murmur louder. This isn't right, someone whispers. Maya's breath hitches. It's happening again. Another layer to the same story, played out in different settings, different faces, but always the same ending. Or is it? Maya's fists clench, nails digging into her palms. Not in anger, exhaustion. Every battle, every doubt, every moment of proving herself, it's too much. Tears burn, but she won't let them fall. Rebecca smirks, thinking she's won. The supervisor folds her arms, waiting for Maya to back down. Jamal watches, jaw tight, hands fisted. The cabin is a pressure cooker, moments from exploding. Then, a new voice rises, firm, unshakable. And this time, it's on Maya's side. The hum of the engines fades beneath a commanding voice. I need to speak with the captain. Passengers turn as an unexpected ally steps forward. The weight in Maya's chest lifts just slightly. Everything is about to change. Wait, I recognize you. The tension in the cabin shifts. Eyes snap toward the speaker. A woman in a crisp blazer, brows furrowed as she scrolls through her phone. Maya barely registers the words, her pulse still hammering from the confrontation. Elizabeth Monroe. The name clicks, a public figure, often in the news. Whispers ripple through the rows. Elizabeth's frown deepens as she stops scrolling. She's seen this face before. A moment later, she finds it. Elizabeth's voice is clear, carrying across the cabin. She's Dr. Maya Reynolds. A collective pause. She developed a groundbreaking cancer treatment. Gasps spread like wildfire. Conversations erupt. That Dr. Reynolds? Rebecca's smirk falters, but she quickly recovers. That doesn't change anything. Elizabeth meets her gaze, unwavering. Actually, it does. Passengers exchange looks, recognition dawning in their eyes. The woman they just saw being humiliated isn't just anyone. She's a pioneer. A name that commands respect. And Rebecca dismissed her like she was invisible. You humiliated a highly respected doctor based on your own bias, Elizabeth says, her voice laced with quiet fury. Murmurs of agreement spread. A few passengers nod. The weight of the moment settles. Jamal steps forward. We all saw it. His arms cross, jaw tight, the dismissiveness, the smirk, the way you called security without cause. Rebecca stiffens. And we got it on video, he adds. Phones are raised, screens glow, proof. Rebecca's confidence wavers. This isn't just an uncomfortable moment anymore. It's evidence, the kind that doesn't get ignored. Rebecca's breath quickens. The cabin isn't on her side anymore. The murmurs grow louder. Passengers exchange looks, disgust, disbelief. Some whisper to flight attendants. The flight supervisor, who once stood firm, now shifts uneasily. Let's all remain calm, she starts, but her voice lacks authority. Jamal shakes his head. Calm? That's all you have to say? Rebecca's hands clench at her sides. Her usual power, the silent authority she wielded over Maya, is gone. This time, she's the one being judged. And there's nowhere to hide. The pilot is informed. His response is swift. A crackling fills the speakers. Effective immediately, Rebecca Lawson is relieved of duty for the remainder of this flight. Silence. Then, a ripple of stunned whispers. Rebecca's face drains of color. What? The flight supervisor exhales sharply. You need to step aside. Maya watches, heart pounding. Justice, real, undeniable, is unfolding in front of her. For once, the weight isn't on her shoulders. For the first time, Maya isn't the one on trial. Rebecca's fate is sealed. But this isn't just about her. It's about every moment like this. Unseen, unrecorded. And this time, the world is watching. This time, the story won't be silenced. This time, the truth holds power. The plane rolls to a stop. A heavy silence lingers. Beyond the small windows, figures stand waiting. Airport security, airline executives, silent witnesses to what's about to unfold. Rebecca's grip tightens on the armrest, her knuckles pale. She swallows hard. She knows. Passengers whisper, some still recording, capturing the moment justice arrives. The doors unlock. A voice crackles through the intercom. Cabin crew, doors to manual. Rebecca barely rises before security approaches. Ma'am, you need to come with us. She stumbles over her words. This is a misunderstanding. No one responds. The murmurs around her drown out her weak protests. A corporate statement is already circulating. The airline does not tolerate discrimination. An internal review is underway. Maya doesn't watch Rebecca disappear into the waiting crowd of officials. She already knows how this ends. By the time Maya steps into the terminal, the internet has already decided. The footage spreads like wildfire. Millions of views, countless shares. Hashtags trend. News anchors dissect every second. Then, the floodgates open. Former passengers come forward. Complaints surface. Patterns emerge. Rebecca isn't just disgraced. She's exposed. An official email arrives. Her employment terminated. There will be no redemption arc. Cameras flash. Microphones crowd her space. Maya stands tall, her voice unwavering. This isn't about me. A pause. This is about every black traveler who faced discrimination with no one to record it. The weight of her words settles over the crowd. Today, we made sure the world saw the truth. And for once, the world listened. Maya exhales, shoulders steady. She doesn't need to see the headlines. She doesn't need validation. The battle isn't over, but today, she won. She lifts her chin, walks forward, and never looks back. The cameras keep rolling. But Maya? She moves on. Maya's story isn't unique. How would you have responded if you were there? Would you speak up? Discrimination thrives in silence. Share your experiences. Every story adds to the fight for justice. Let's make sure no voice goes unheard. This conversation isn't over. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more stories that challenge injustice and inspire change.